We're live.
We are live. Hey, I just want to welcome everybody as you are coming on. We are going about our usual business of our tech check, making sure that all of our streams are aligned wherever you happen to be watching us, whether that's on Facebook or that's in our app or YouTube. So, wherever you are watching, we are trying to make sure that we connect with you and that we are live. And so, Vicky's just kind of quickly going through.
We are live.
Uh, and we're live, and now we have official confirmation from our tech expert herself. So fantastic! I just want to say welcome, everyone. It is really a joy to be here with all of you as we are diving into the thrill of fresh starts, new beginnings, and let's be real, the occasional stumble along the way. So I just want to say thank you for joining Vicky and myself as we take a fun, insightful, and hopefully inspiring look at what it means to embrace transformation and trust that God is in the business of creating something new in each one of us.
Yeah, that's so cool. So we want to start with a confession. So this is our confession, and it's really our baseline assumption
Yeah.
as we step into this journey. That's our baseline that we're consistently connected to, that God's ultimate goal is us growing deeper in union with Him. That is really what our whole entire baseline is coming, that we trust that that is who God is and that He is always calling us deeper into Him. This isn't just a one and done kind of a thing. Every single day, every moment, and even right now in this moment, it's an invitation to start fresh, to start
Yeah.
new. I saw this really cool quote the other day that was, your emotional kind of like maturity or your spiritual maturity isn't about how much of the Bible you read. It's about how you respond. It's about how
Mm,
you really respond to things. And I thought that it's in our responses. How do we do that? And really we have these two choices. We have this choice to trust God and align with Him even when we don't understand, or we could do things our own way. And trust me, I have done the second, the latter, so many times.
we all
And
have.
I know, yes, and I know enough to know that it's better to let him lead. Way
Yeah.
better. Not as easy. It's definitely not the easy path. So, we want to explore what it means to step into this new year, trusting that union with God will bring about a real and a transformational change within us.
Yeah. And that's really kind of a wonderful picture. And I want to sort of illustrate that with a passage from Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 19. And
Mm.
this is where God tells us to stop dwelling on past events and brooding over times gone by. And if that doesn't speak to the heart of every overthinker in the room, I don't know what will. And there's probably a few of you nodding as we speak. But God says this. He says, I'm doing something new. It's springing up. Can't you see it? I am making a road in the desert, rivers in the wasteland, which is pretty awesome. It's like God's telling us, hey, look, don't get stuck staring in the rear view mirror. I've got roads to build, rivers to flow, and I'm calling you to come along this journey with me.
Yes, and this is a powerful thing. I mean, how do we stop dwelling on things?
Yeah.
And this is what we're kind of in the business of, right? Is helping people process. And so we're not here to say just stop it or don't go there.
Yeah.
We're here to say there's a process and there's a way. And the first step really is to name what is weighing us down.
Mm.
And maybe it's regrets or hurts or shame or fear, whatever those things are. It's so helpful to name them. And then we can bring them to God. We can talk about them. We can process through them. And that's what God really wants us to grieve the things that hurt us so that we're able to release and go forward, to release those things and move forward in a healthy way. And that's really the beauty of it all. Our burdens don't need to be our forever baggage.
Yeah.
It's so important, the lens that we do life and see life through. So Jesus invites us to hand our burdens to Him.
Yeah.
And there's freedom in that. There's so much freedom in that. When we stop carrying that weight, Our ears are more open to his voice. And it's really what we hear guiding us forward.
Yeah, and I think if you sort of go along with that imagery, it kind of brings us to the best news ever is that this is the truth. We don't have to make life happen on our own.
Mm,
And that's because we have someone who is leading us. Jesus is our good shepherd, and we get to follow him.
yeah.
And yes, this is the same Jesus who said in John 10:27, my sheep hear my voice. So we get to listen, trust, and follow where he leads us. One of the things that was interesting, I don't remember where I saw this or heard this story from, but it was talking about how shepherds, when they lead their flocks to watering holes, these are communal watering holes. And you think, how in the world do all of these sheep gather together, drink some water, and then how do they figure out what herd goes where and which sheep is with which shepherd? And it just seems like chaos. The interesting thing is, though, is the shepherds will pause and they will call one by one to their sheep and start
Mm,
leading them away. And they just start self-segregating according to the voice of the shepherd, because they're so tuned in to his voice that they just immediately follow wherever he's going.
wow.
And it's kind of cool because that's, the more we get in practice with this, the more that we deepen our union with God, the more easily we hear his voice, and the more we trust wherever it is that he is leading us. Because if we're honest, we may not always know the end of the story.
Right.
In fact, we probably don't. And we may not know where every path leads, and we probably don't. But we do know that God is deeply committed to our restoration. And that means that he is working inside each one of us to make us whole and holy,
Uh,
purely out of the love that he has for each one of us.
that is so beautiful. And I love how Paul describes this in Ephesians. He says, this transformation is a beautiful, lifelong journey. That's in Ephesians 1:4-6. And God is restoring us to be holy and whole and in love and in union with him. It's like an ultimate renovation project, right? And we are the masterpiece. Our whole life is about that union and that journey with him. But it is not easy. It is not always easy. Some days are easier than others.
Yeah.
And there's definitely days that are really hard.
Yeah.
And it can feel like a series of reroutes and just like you're making it up as you go. But God is so kind and he's so committed. He's so committed to you and to your walk and to your story and to your life, to your heart, most of all, I believe.
Yeah.
And so he promises to walk through it with us. And that's just incredible. And you know what we get at the end? The prize is him. The prize
Yeah.
is God himself. And that's just amazing.
Yeah. It's funny. It makes me think a little bit of in Narnia when the children are asking the beavers if Aslan, the lion, is safe.
Mm,
Safe. Of course he's not safe, but he's good.
so good.
He's good. And so if transformation is one of your goals, if that's, either the main goal or just one of them, wouldn't it just make sense to be intentional about it? In other words, instead of just, crossing our fingers and hoping for the best, what if we leaned in with a sense of expectancy? What if we said, God, I'm all in. Show me what you're up to, and I'll partner with you in whatever that is. This is what 2025 could be for us, a year of intentional steps towards who God is calling each one of us to become. Because it's really about bringing our whole selves with all of our dreams and goals, and then
Mm.
letting God shape us through them.
Yeah, I love that. And if we think back and look at 2024, it's really cool to think about this philosopher, Soren Kierkegaard. And he says this, he says, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. So we don't have that clarity moving forward. We might have clarity of the next step right? What's right in
Right.
front of us. But we have so much wisdom when we look back and we can see, oh,
Mm.
that's why things happened the way they did. And maybe in the moment you didn't get that, you didn't understand it. But we're taking that wisdom to heart here. And so we reflect on the past to learn from it. What challenged us? Where did we see God at work? And where did we struggle to trust? Because what we have found is by reflecting on successes and sorrows gives us clarity to move forward. And we want to do that with you. We want to move forward into 2025 with fresh eyes and a willing heart, and really move forward into that like a debriefing session with God, like a divine debriefing. God is saying, let's debrief, let's talk about this. And we know exactly what we want to do that with you.
Yeah. And I think probably this all sounds great, you know, but also realize that embracing God's story for our lives, it requires courage,
Yeah,
because it's not always easy to be, all in when others around you may not understand, or they may even doubt,
true.
or may even ridicule the journey that you're on. And that's where our courage and commitment to God's path really comes into play. Because the world's always going to have opinions. Always. There
Yeah.
will never be a shortage of opinions in the world. But when we know who we are, and more importantly, we know whose we are, then we're free to live with all of our hearts. We're free to grow in maturity and grace. And that's where really that transformation really begins to take root in our lives.
Yes. And here we are. We're in this moment right now that could be the start of something so remarkable. And stepping into this year intentionally, we're making priceless investments when we do that, when we're making that in ourselves. And we make that in God, in our walks with God, building our lives with Him one choice at a time. So we have entered into the new year already. On the Hebrew calendar, we
Yeah.
are in 5785. And I love this time on the calendar because in the Hebrew thought, it's almost like a hidden time. We're in these months and we really want to make the most of this time as we prepare to move into January and on our calendar, moving into 2025. We want to end our year strong. We want to
Yeah.
end connected. We want to end it really preparing our hearts to move forward into what's coming next. And this isn't about perfect performance or ticking off boxes at all. This
Yeah.
is about journeying with God, learning to hear His voice, and trusting that even in our mistakes and in our weaknesses, He's always working through us and in us. It's
Yeah.
so important. And this is really what an inspired life looks like. It's alive with purpose, growing in grace, and following the voice of God, our good shepherd, God. So, what we want to do is partner with you, continue to partner with you into 2025 with that spirit of expectancy, knowing that God's gone ahead of us. He's, like Dan said, making roads in the desert, and He is putting rivers in the wastelands, and trusting in His timing, following His lead, because really it's important that you know that your story is precious. It's so precious and it's unique and it is totally designed by God for a purpose.
Yeah.
And so we want to move into this new year, holding on to the words of Philippians 1:6 that says, He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. And really understanding that what's ahead of us, the best is yet to come, what is ahead of us.
Yeah. And that's why tonight we're just so excited, because we're giving you a sneak peek into something that we think is pretty special. And that's the brand new Inspired Life Guide. And we just want to share a little bit with you of our vision for 2025. We know that a lot of you are here because you're looking for a deeper understanding of your faith.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're feeling disconnected. Maybe you just want a supportive community that's walking the same path. But ultimately, we're here live with you because we want you to be the first to see what we've created for the Inspired Life community. And we know that sometimes life feels overwhelming. Sometimes it feels like you're just going through the motions without direction. And so that's what we really want to do, is we want to dig into something that will help all of us experience that direction, so our GPS doesn't feel like it's just going haywire, right? So this is a little behind the scenes look at our new guide for 2025. And as Vicki alluded to, the Hebrew year 5785.
Yes, we're so excited, you guys. We have just completed it, and we are early this year because
Finally.
Yes, we wanted to get this done and out there to you so that we can, like we said, we want to take full advantage of these months to really prepare and go into the new year. And we created this guide back in 2018, and it has gone through many versions. It really started out as 10-page, it was a 10-page handout that we stapled in the corner, and we used it in our live when we used to meet at my house for a brunch. Yeah. And we met and we did this for our January group. And that was always our biggest group. And we would get together and we would go through what's in the content of that we created to really do what we're talking about, to really take inventory, in a sense, to look at the year before, look at the things that were great, look at the things that were hard and challenging, and have a place to process that and to look ahead. And to look ahead. So we are so excited as our new book is about to get published. We literally have a published book now. And how many pages is it this year?
It's around 280.
Oh my gosh. So every year we have added and added, I should say Dan has. I mean, we work on this together, but he is the mastermind behind this beautiful guide. And it really is a beautiful guide. And really this purpose, what we designed this for, is to be a companion that brings clarity, depth, and purpose in your journey as you walk through the whole entire year.
Yeah. So we want to, I'm going to put the guide up for, it's already up. Never mind. To see, this is the new Inspired Life Guide, the latest updated version, which is going to officially launch on November 15th. And we're pretty excited about it. The reason is because, we didn't just want to write something that was informational, although it has a lot of great information in it. We wanted to do something that helped people connect to the Hebrew roots of their faith, which we go into detail in the book as to why we got disconnected from that. But really the power of that, of understanding where we come from in order to better understand where we're going.
Yeah.
And part of this is really building our lives with God at the center. One of the worst mistakes we can make as Christians is trying to figure out how we can fit a little bit more of God into our lives. That's something that we all struggle with, but it's absolutely the wrong approach. We need to build our life with God, and then we can start looking outward at what might we be able to fit into our life, including God. But he's the starting point. And so that all sounds great, but what does that look like in real life? And one of the things that I love about reconnecting with the Hebrew roots is the way that God frames our life into seasons, into months, into weeks. Basically, our life with God is a series of intentional connection points that just lead us from one place to the next as he's drawing us closer to him, as he's drawing us into deeper alignment with his will for our lives. And then as we experience our greatest happiness, when the created being is doing the thing that the creator has made that being to do, then we are our happiest. Wow. We are our most fulfilled. And so this is really about a process that's part, kind of, philosophical, like we have to kind of change the paradigm of our thinking and our mindsets, but it's also part practical. It's also saying this is how we can actually apply it. This is the way we can live this out in real life. So it's not this this, theological theory that we just sort of talk about. It's understanding where we came from, understanding what God is calling us into, and then setting about building our lives around him, so that in him, in union with him, we experience the life that he has intended for us from the very, very beginning. And so I think many of you might feel like you're craving more depth in your spiritual life. Maybe you feel like you're missing out on something, but you're not even really sure what. You can't even put a name to it. Or maybe you're just trying to navigate faith alone, and it's
Mhm.
rough, and you're longing for a community of people that are on a similar path. And this is partly, we designed this guide to address those very things.
Yes, and we are super excited to be releasing the 2025 edition of the Inspired Life Guide on Friday, November 15th.
Yep.
It has gone for a final edit, and it is about to go and be printed. We are so excited. So we will be dropping a link because you'll be able to order it on Amazon and get it in plenty of time to start off the new year with intentionality and direction. And
Yes.
we do have something very extra special to let you know. When you join the Inspired Life membership, the guide is free. You get the guide as part of the membership. So if you're looking for that deeper connection, that's what Dan is talking about. The membership is the next step. I promise you. It's so incredible. There's so many great benefits with the membership. We use this guide, and you can use this guide and go through the year, but when you do it with community, you get to have that connection every month, and we go deep into it, and you get to talk and bounce off what's going on with other people that are in it with you. It's amazing. So the membership is $29 a month. And with that, you literally get 2 group coaching, live group coaching on Zoom. It's incredible. Those times are so powerful. They're 2 hours each, and they go so fast, but we love it. We even, like, we'll say if anybody needs to stay, like, we love it. We chat. We hate to say goodbye. It's so true. And so we do these 2 times a month. We dig deep into the topics that matter. We align with what's going on the Hebrew calendar for that month. And we do these to help us to really stay connected, but also for clarity. When we learn how to process things in a healthy way, it helps us with our perspective, with our clarity. And that changes everything. Whether we're dealing with things that are hard at work, in our relationships, in the world, what's going on. There's so much going on in the world, and it's a hard thing to navigate through. And it really helps when you're able to have a safe place to talk about it and to share and pray for each other and stay connected. So we also do a weekly live teaching. We do weekly live teachings that help you to stay focused, aligned, feel supported, all of those things. And we're coming up on one of our very favorite events of the whole year.
Yeah.
It's for sure. I love this event. It's our New Year's one-day workshop. So we do this year. We're going to be doing it on January 11th. So mark off your calendar, save the date. It is such a powerful, powerful day. We usually go from like 10 to 2. It's usually about a 4-hour workshop. And this is meant to be an experience that is transformational.
Yeah.
We deliver basically a month's worth of coaching in one afternoon. And like, that's how powerful it is. We almost always can't even fit everything that we have planned for it. And so we always kind of, in our follow-up weeklies, we will do more, but this is so very powerful. And it's really a way to fast track everything so that you're really prepared, and we map out your year together. We literally will map it out. It's very interactive, and it's meant to equip you with tools to make impactful choices, to make just decisions and goals and all of those things confidently, and where you really are opening your eyes to embracing the new possibilities that are coming before you. So this day is a day that we come together that literally will redefine your year. It really does. And there's just so many benefits to that.
Yeah, I love that because the book, like I said, is really designed to help you focus on the important, on the essential. It isn't like a, hey, we're gonna do a bunch of goals and stuff that you probably won't be able to achieve anyway because we're so unrealistic in the way we approach those. This is really about helping you figure out what is truly most important to you,
Yeah.
and then bringing that to God and then helping you walk through a process where, okay, this is what I am going to really be intentional about this year. And then you're living every day, every week, every month of the year in a much more meaningful way because you're living for things that are still going to matter to you 10 years from now, not a bunch of to do lists that you'll probably forget about in 6 months, right? And so all of this is in the membership. And I think the other benefit too to the membership, Vicki was talking about this a little bit, is community. Because it's really hard to do all of this alone. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, you know. And so our community, we really want it to be a space where you're not just showing up for a teaching. That's going on. I mean, if that's the case, there's all kinds of great YouTube channels that have all kinds of great, wonderful, awesome information. They're fascinating to listen to. That's not what this is. Um, this is really a group of people that are ready to grow with you, that are willing to be vulnerable, that are willing to share insights, that are willing to offer, this is what God is teaching me right now, and
Mhm.
provide support for each other. It's imagine having that kind of encouragement all year long, right? As we're processing through the months, as we're processing through the teaching, as we're trying to put all of this together in a way that helps us go deeper in our intimacy with God. So the guide itself, just on its own, is $49 if that's where you prefer to start, and that's totally fine. But remember, if you join us in the Inspired Life membership, you'll actually receive that guide for free, and you will also receive a special members only price for all of our coaching events throughout the year, which includes the one-day workshop. So really, if this speaks to you, if this resonates with you, that you want more clarity and purpose in your life, in your upcoming year, if you're looking for community support, this is an amazing place to begin that. And we can't wait to walk through 2025 with each one of you and really explore this guide together to help deepen our faith, grow together, and really live intentionally for our intimacy with God.
Yeah, we are really excited. We're excited for this new year. We're excited for this new guide. There is so much in there and so much more that we want to do this next year that we are planning and rolling out. So we just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Remember we're going to be releasing the Inspired Life Guide on November 15th. So that's a week from Friday. Super excited. So keep your eye out because we will drop the link. We'll let you guys know, obviously, here in the group, probably email you, all of that. And if you're ready to jump in with the Inspired Life membership, and you want to join, you'll get the guide as soon as it's out. It'll get sent to you. It will
Yeah.
definitely get sent to you as soon as it's released. I will put a link to the membership, and it's a great link. You can look and it shows you everything that's in it, everything that you get. If you have any questions or you want to talk to us about it, please reach out. We're so accessible. You can send us a messenger on Facebook here. Any way that you want to reach us, we'd love to chat with you more about it. But we are so grateful for each of you being here. We cannot wait what's ahead. We can't wait for what is happening. And we want to send you off with speaking life over and into each one of you for a powerful, purpose-filled year with only the best. And we're in it with you. We love
Yeah.
you guys so much. We love doing life with you. And with that, we would say shalom.
Yes. Thank you all. Shalom.